So, welcome all of you to this very new avatar of book launches for Valley of Words. Those of you book lovers who have had the opportunity to visit the festival, you would have seen how we do it in person. But this year, due to the pandemic, we've gone online and we are doing it all in cyberspace. But that doesn't take away the enthusiasm and the quality of the books and authors who are connecting with us. And today we have a great book which has been gathering rave reviews all over from Indian Express, from Business World, you name it. Everybody is raving about it. It's quite a thriller, but rooted in true stories. And we have with us the author himself, much felicitated, much awarded, illustrious, a man of many moods. And I will try to bring out some of those moods as we progress into the book launch session. So I'm talking today about the Barabanki Narcos, a book by Mr. Aloke Lal, who some of you might have known as ex-Director General of Police, and some of you might know him as a great painter. So, welcome, Mr. Lal, and
Thank
this
you very
is
much.
entirely on your show today, and we are just so honored to have you with us. So,
I'm
if
grateful.
I may,
I'm grateful for the kind introduction and also to the Valley of Words who have called me here to be talking to you and talking to so many of your viewers. Thank you so much.
our honor. So, if I may start off, your book, what do you think is the central theme? Let me just tell all our book lovers and readers that it's a narrative of how Mr. Lal, as a crusader against crime, fought the entrenched drug mafia in Uttar Pradesh. So I just want to know from your perspective, what is the central theme? Is it about the victims of the crime? Is it about the justice seekers like yourself? Or is it about the criminals themselves, how this nexus develops? Give us your views.
As a matter of fact, this book is about all these personages you have mentioned, be it the criminal, be it the police, or the victims. See, without the criminal, the story would not have been there. And without the victims, the police would not have come into picture. So all three have to come together to put the whole story together. Uh, I must tell you in short what happened. I was SP of a district called Barabanki, and that is why it's called the Barabanki Narcos. This district is known for its opium cultivation, which is legal. But the legal cultivation opium is pilfered to go into the parallel black market, the smuggler's market of opium. And these people who do the smuggling are extremely rich, as you might be aware. The majority of the black money in the world comes from the opium or drug trade. So the drug trade has huge money, and this money is something that can buy almost everybody. Because of the capability of these criminals to neutralize not merely the law agencies, but also the decision makers of the time, be it the government, be it the ministers, be it the top bureaucrats, be it the top officials of the police department. So, with such a large amount of money at their disposal, these smugglers also finance a lot of our elections. You know, elections cannot be fought in India without a huge input of black money. So this black money helps them to win over friendship in the political circles. So for me, the challenge was to get hold of these people, despite the fact that there were many friends they had in high places. That I succeeded in doing so, and that the work that my police and I did ultimately led to establishment of world records, which continue to be records even today, is the success story which I have told in this book. Now, when you ask me who is the central figure, of course, everybody put together makes it a story. But for me, as a police officer, the victims were most important. Not merely as a police officer, as you and I who know the damage drugs can do to people, we should all be concerned.
So that brings out the sensitive side of Mr. Lal, and I think that's what led him to write the book, because writers are typically sensitive people who need to bring out their emotions in one form or the other. I think all artists are. So, as you said, it is about your own escapades as you follow the crime trail through these narrow lanes of small town Uttar Pradesh. But you are the protagonist, yes. You have also created some very strong characters. If I can recall, there is Karimullah, there is Qasim, there is Gurjeet. Any one of them whom you feel you could have admired in some way, someone who just stands tall in your mind, even if it's a negative character.
Ah, to call somebody who stands tall and who I can admire cannot be a negative character. I'm sorry. So, Qasim, of course, is the chief criminal in this story. He is the number one antagonist, if you want to call that person somebody opposed to me being the protagonist. Okay, in this case, what I'll say is that it was Qasim and people like him, people like Kalimullah and so many others. The names are there in the book. These people were running a trade which was grossly illegal, and it was causing huge damage to the society and individuals, especially the youth. So these were the people who were to be eliminated, at least their business was to be eliminated. And the other people who are very important in this story are the ones who have helped me nab these people, helped me recover the illicit opium. So Gurjeet, as you mentioned, is one of them. We had Hassan, a very young cricket enthusiast. Then we had one Gedalal, and of course we had Gurjeet's husband Satwant. We had a young man called Nikhil, who was aspiring to get into the IAS. So these are the people who helped me a great deal in reaching the criminals, being able to nab them, being able to do the intervention when and where it was required. The time was of essence. The build-up was of essence. So the build-up included a very solid input of intelligence, correct intelligence, which could be relied upon. So in that respect, these people I have mentioned were the ones who gave me very reliable information. And then, most of all, my own team of police officers. They stood by me like anything, and they put their life on stake. We lost
Right.
one informer in the entire process. The book tells you about a young boy called Suresh. We lost him in the process. We lost a few others in the process of trying to nab these people. So my heart goes out to all these people who have made all the sacrifices, and my colleagues in the police department.
A question just popped up. So, when you say, of course, the build up and the solid information network, so yes, you and your fellow officers were, in a sense, doing your duty, doing your job well. What about these informants? Are they mostly motivated by some kind of incentive? Or did you come across people who were putting their life at risk through just purely altruistic motives?
So those of my informers who played important roles have been described in some detail in my book. And I have acknowledged that without their presence, without their sacrifice, without their uh, ability to accept challenges, without their willingness to face risks to their lives, I would not have succeeded. So I have described these people in some detail, and the motivation was different in different cases. For instance, in the case of Gurjeet, she had a problem at home. Her own husband had become a victim of drugs. In the case of Hassan, he had himself become a drug addict and was unfortunately losing out on his performance on the cricket field. Then uh, there were others also. Almost all of them had a brush with drugs in one way or the other. So these informers were motivated because I made very serious, strong, and very dedicated efforts to bring them to what can be called the mainstream of living, the mainstream of happy living. So that was perhaps the motivation that brought them to me.
Great answer. And everyone who's read the book so far says it's so riveting a tale that we had to read it cover to cover without putting it down. So you talked about build up. So when you were going on these raids, trying to locate informers, trying to dig out the criminals from their holes, any particular incident which was like adrenaline pumping incident which you have narrated, captured in the book? In short, if you can just give us a glimpse of that.
Uh, Actually, the police lives a life which is so full of thrill, everyday life. It's a package which is never short of thrills. So when you tell a story related to crime, and especially to such an important crime as this, things make a lot of difference. And it becomes thrilling because the very factum of the narrative is thrilling. Now, if you allow me, I'll read a short passage from the book, which somehow or the other conveys a bit of thrill about the time when I had the unusual visit of Kalimullah to my office. So this is
Please
how
go
I've
ahead.
described it. It's a short narrative, short passage, so it will not take long time.
Okay. We
It's
are
a
eagerly
chapter
awaiting.
10 called Counter-Offensive. It was February 1986, about a month after the second major drug bust. I was in my office in the middle of some work when I got a whiff of itr, a local perfume. I looked up to see a man with a flowing white beard standing in front of me. Greetings, Kaptan Sahab. I am called Kalimullah. The name rang a bell. Kalimullah. But of course, he was a known trader of illicit opium, serving a term in jail. How was he here? As I tried to collect myself, my visitor continued, Sir, I am out on parole, and I have heard people praising you. So I thought I would pay you a visit. With that, he kept a beautiful hand embroidered cloth bag on my table. It is the freshest husk, sir. Perhaps Madam will like to use it when she prepares chicken. Husk is an ingredient for cooking chicken. So this is what he suggested, that my wife could use this husk while cooking chicken. This offering undid my composure. A convicted drug criminal standing right in front of me inside my own office, presenting me with a byproduct of opium. I flew into an unusual rage, getting up from my seat with such violence that a number of objects on the table were scattered. A table lamp landed on Kalimullah's foot. He was taken aback by my reaction. I pushed him out of my office, causing him to stumble on the threshold. Ramdhani was shocked, and in his panic, he swung a cane at Kalimullah. He brought down the cane with violent ferocity, but missed his target. The cane hit the ground and broke. This brought me back to my senses. I ordered Ramdhani to calm down and escort the visitor out of the premise along with his gift. Now, throwing him out of the premises along with the gift uh, happened many times in my case, but in this particular case, just imagine this man Kalimullah was a known criminal and a person who could have caused serious harm to me, could have caused serious harm to me. So these are the aspects I think what readers have found thrilling for a police officer. They happen often now.
Thank you for that small narrative. But tell me something. This book is set in the 1980s. Why? And it's a thrilling tale. It's a true story. So why did you wait 2 decades to more than 2 decades to bring it to us, to the readers?
Well, I think there is always a moment fixed for things to happen. I think the moment for this to happen was only now. So all I can say is that this book was in the making in my mind for a long time. And thanks to my family, my wife and my son, they managed to convince me that I had enough in me to write a book. I had been writing columns for newspapers and magazines for all these years, maybe a few hundred articles on all sorts of subjects. So they surmised from these articles that I could write. And so they insisted that I write my experiences in the police. So, uh, Madhulika, this is the beginning of my books. Actually, this is the first book, and some others are in the pipeline. So, rest assured, the thing has started, and the book has started now. Books will be coming down, and two more books I'm co-authoring with Manas Lal. So the two of us are now writing two more books, and they will
Great,
be soon
great.
out.
So I
2021.
will have more opportunities to be in conversation with you.
Sure,
So
sure.
you are a celebrated painter, and did it did it help you when you were trying to paint the picture with words rather than colors, or was there a particular difference which was a challenge for you?
See, as a painter, you use colors to produce a product. You use colors to express something. But in the case of telling a colorful story, you use words. So colors are on both sides. You use colors in different manners. The medium there is paint. The medium here is word. So, anyways, coming to the fact that I had been a painter, uh, I think that helps people imagine things better because a lot of the painting work that one does comes with a big amount of imagination. No painting work no painting which has substance in it will be without imagination. So the imagination part of the painting helps you be imaginative and creative. And so when you write,
So
also perhaps the recall of events is better.
so let's not leave our readers to their imagination. Let's please unveil the book and let
Yeah.
them have a look at it. So this is of course the official launch.
So this is the book.
the Barabanki Narcos is officially launched. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah.
And if I may,
Thank you.
just before I wrap up,
Sorry?
just a small question.
Yeah.
You know, the book launch, and especially a first book, it's a moment of joy, and it's almost like a birth which you celebrate. Any regrets that this is happening in the virtual environment, not face to face with all pomp and splendor?
See, conditions cannot be ideal all the time. We are facing a pandemic. There is a problem, serious problem the world is facing. In the middle of this, if you can have a launch like this, I should be grateful to the elements who have allowed us to do this. Thanks to technology, thanks to so many other things, we are able to do it. And I must tell you that despite the fact that soon after this book came in the market, we we were grappling with this huge pandemic all over the world. But the book has been received very well. So many copies have been sold. My publisher must be quite happy with me, I'm sure. So I can say that yes, there is a silver lining in this dark cloud of the pandemic. And the silver lining is that people perhaps have been drawn to reading more. And now that you don't have to have the physical possession of all those books, you can read it on Kindle, you can read it uh, online. And so all these things possibly have made it easier for people to grab their copies. More reading is
Absolutely.
happening perhaps.
I urge all my readers and all the book lovers out there, everyone who's watching and is part of the Value of Words, to please grab a copy, and or you can order it from Amazon or from the website itself, barabankinarcos.com. So many congratulations and thank you all.
Thank you very much, Madhulika. This was wonderful. Thank you, Value of Words.
You are welcome.